राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय जय कृष्ण बलराम 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 जय ललित विशाख जय राधे श्याम ललित विशाख जय राधे श्याम जय ललित विशाख जय राधे श्याम ललित विशाख जय राधे जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद भाई चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वत्सदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री 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 वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी महारानी की सामवेद भक्तवृंद की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from chapter 18, which is entitled Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation, verse number 50. Mataji sent me as 50, whichever. Okay, 49 I'll do this. Okay. asakta-buddhiḥ sarvatra jita-ātmā vigata-spṛhaḥ naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ paramāṁ sannyāsenādhigacchati. 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 asakta-buddhiḥ sarvatra jita-ātmā vigata-spṛhaḥ naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ paramāṁ sannyāsenādhigacchati.
asakta-buddhiḥ sarvatra
jita-ātmā vigata-spṛhaḥ
naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ paramāṁ
naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ paramāṁ
sannyāsenādhigacchati.
asakta-buddhiḥ sarvatra jita-ātmā vigata-spṛhaḥ naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ paramāṁ
naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ paramāṁ
sannyāsenādhigacchati.
sannyāsenādhigacchati.
asakta-buddhiḥ sarvatra jita-ātmā vigata-spṛhaḥ
jita-ātmā vigata-spṛhaḥ
naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ paramāṁ
naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ paramāṁ
sannyāsenādhigacchati.
sannyāsenādhigacchati.
asakta-buddhiḥ sarvatra
jita-ātmā vigata-spṛhaḥ
naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ paramāṁ
sannyāsenādhigacchati. asakta-buddhiḥ, having unattached intelligence, sarvatra, everywhere, jitātmā, having control of the mind, vigata-spṛhaḥ, without material desires, naiṣkarmya-siddhiṁ, the perfection of non-reaction, paramāṁ, supreme, sannyāsena, by the renounced order of life, adhigacchati, one attains. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Everybody can repeat. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Real renunciation means that one should always think himself part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and therefore think that he has no right to enjoy the results of his work. Since he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the results of his work must be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. This is actually Kṛṣṇa consciousness. The person acting in Kṛṣṇa consciousness is really a sannyāsī, one in the renounced order of life. By such a mentality, one is satisfied because he is actually acting for the Supreme. Thus, he is not attached to anything material. He becomes accustomed to not taking pleasure in anything beyond the transcendental happiness derived from the service of the Lord. A sannyāsī is supposed to be free from the reactions of his past activities. But a person who is in Kṛṣṇa consciousness automatically attains this perfection without even accepting the so-called order of renunciation. This state of mind is called yogārūḍha, or the perfectional stage of yoga, as confirmed in the 3rd chapter. Ātma-ratir eva syāt. One who is satisfied in himself has no fear of any kind of reaction from his activity. Om ajñānatimirandhasya jñānāñjana-salakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Kṛṣṇa Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, this 18th chapter is the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. As we all know, Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 parts. It has got 18 chapters and it's divided into 3 sections. The first section, the first 6 chapters are talking about what? Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga. And then the middle 6 chapters are talking about Bhakti Yoga. And the last 6 chapters are talking about Jnana Yoga. So, in the 18th chapter, actually, as we already every time I tell, 17th chapter, the whole Bhagavad Gita is finished actually. Kṛṣṇa, whatever he had to tell, he has already spoken everything. But 18th chapter is like an overview of what he has already spoken in the earlier chapters, all the 17 chapters. Like in the beginning, we heard Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. So, in the 18th chapter, Kṛṣṇa is summarizing entire thing what he has already spoken. So, in every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, already, although Kṛṣṇa's intention is to give Bhakti Yoga, but not everybody is ready to take Bhakti Yoga in the beginning because they have so many material desires. So, that's why Kṛṣṇa speaks gradual yoga ladder, how one can from the lowest level to they can come to the highest level. So, Kṛṣṇa spoke about this Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, everything. So, in this 18th chapter, in every chapter, although Kṛṣṇa is speaking on those yogas, but he is mentioning that Bhakti is the topmost. Even in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Kṛṣṇa said that Teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam mayeva mana adits. So Kṛṣṇa is telling Teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. Kṛṣṇa is saying etu sarvani karmani mayi sannyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. So those who are fixed in bhakti yoga, for them Kṛṣṇa is the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So that is why bhakti is the topmost. And Kṛṣṇa concluded the Karma Yoga section with his first 6 chapters. The last verse Kṛṣṇa said that yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yamam same yukta tamamata. Of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service unto me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. Kṛṣṇa concluded that section. So again Kṛṣṇa began 7th chapter. In 7th chapter we know it's all about Bhakti Yoga. And then especially in Bhakti Yoga, 9th chapter is the very crucial chapter. Bhakti completely discussed in 9th chapter. And Kṛṣṇa, the last 9th chapter has got 34 verses. The last 8 verses are the most important, where Kṛṣṇa says patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahritam ashnami jitātmā. And then Kṛṣṇa concluded that 9th chapter saying that manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaivam ātma-ratir mat-parāyana. How important is this verse? Krishna has repeated twice in 18th chapter. Again he has said in the 65th verse. So this what did Krishna tell? Manmanabhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaevam atmanam matparayanaha. What is that? Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Number 1. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Number 2. Become my devotee. Offer your obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Krishna told that. If we do these 4 things, Krishna is guaranteeing that we'll go back home, back to Godhead. Those who are interested to go back home, back to Godhead, they have to engage in these 4 things. What's that? Manmanabhava. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Always be Krishna conscious. Do every activity for the pleasure of the Lord. So engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. And then what did he tell? Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely will come to me. So like that in every chapter, Krishna, and in 8th chapter also in the 14th verse, it says, Ananya chetah satatam yomam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yoginaha. He says that for one who is constantly engaged in devotional service, I am easy to obtain. Tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yoginaha. I am very easy to obtain, like that. So in every chapter, even though Krishna is speaking that, but he is telling how potent is bhakti, how powerful, how it can like take us from this material ocean and transcend to the spiritual world. So how important is it? So in the 18th chapter, in the very beginning, Arjuna asked a question, Tyagi and sannyas and all. Krishna very clearly explained that one should not give up the work itself. One should give up the fruits of the work and be in a detached mood, in a renounced mood, you have to do an activity. And also one should not give up activities that's going to elevate one, like yajnadana tapakarma natyajam karyameva tat yajnodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Acts of sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned. Why? Because it will purify even great souls. So like that Krishna, and also he told that renunciation in 3 modes, prescribed duty should never be renounced. So like that Krishna told them, and then in the last part of that section, 12th verse, he says that the one who is not renounced, he has to accrue the threefold things like, mixed, all this. Krishna told that one has to suffer, either they'll go to higher planets or go to the hellish planets or live on this earth. So everybody has to be, actually what belongs to us to renounce anything? We came empty, we are going to go empty. In between whatever we have, we think it is mine and we are not ready to renounce that. We are actually sannyasis by soul, like we just come into this world, we accept everything. In between birth and death, we think that everything belongs to us and renunciation is very difficult and all. But while dying, we have to leave everything and go. Nothing we are going to carry with us, right? What are we going to take? Even this body that we are living, this like a dress, like Prabhu said, showed now, vasam shijirnani yatha vihaya. So even this body also, we will not, that will also be burned, like, So we all come alone and we don't come with anyone. We are all alone. We come alone, we go alone. We don't bring anything, we don't take anything, and in between we are so much attached. So Krishna is telling perfection of renunciation, we have to renounce. If we don't renounce, what will happen? Krishna is telling, those who do not renounce, what will happen to them is, Krishna is telling in this 12th verse, that anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividham karmana phalam bhavatyathyagina pretya natu sannyasenādhigacchati kvachit. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. So, a Krishna consciousness acting in knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is always liberated. Therefore, he does not have to enjoy or suffer the results of his acts after death. So, those who are not renounced, they have to suffer this, either go to the higher planets, enjoy or suffer in the hellish planets or live on the earthly planets. Kṛṣṇa also says that in 14th chapter, in which mode if we die, what destination we get. Urdhvam gacchanti 14th chapter 18th verse, Kṛṣṇa says, Urdhvam gacchanti satvastha madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya guna vrittistha adho gacchanti tamasa. Those who die in the mode of goodness, they go to the higher planets. Those who die in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets. Those who die in the abominable mode of ignorance, they go down to the hellish worlds. So Kṛṣṇa, our animal kingdom. So like that, Kṛṣṇa is very clearly telling in which mode of nature if we die, what is the destination we get. So that section Kṛṣṇa is telling that. But the person who is renounced, in the next verse Kṛṣṇa says, Panchaitani mahabaho no, not this one, yeah. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to enjoy or suffer. So like that. So those who are renounced, they don't have to go through all these things. But those who are attached, they don't renounce, they have to again enjoy or suffer. Again they have to keep transmigrating in different bodies. So that is Karma Yoga. So what is Karma Yoga? Why is Kṛṣṇa even telling about Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is because Arjuna, we know that he gave 5 reasons why he doesn't want to fight. Arjuna is worried that he will have to suffer the sinful reactions. That is why Kṛṣṇa had to elaborately talk about Karma Yoga. He is telling that if you act, the nature of the soul is to be active. We have to act. If we don't act, then we cannot not act. We have to act. So if we do Kṛṣṇa conscious activities, we become free from sinful reactions. If we act for our personal sense gratification, we have to suffer. So that is why Kṛṣṇa is telling this Karma Yoga, that being active, work for in a detached mood, and finally become Kṛṣṇa conscious, offer all your results to Kṛṣṇa. So that way you will become free from reactionary work. That was Arjuna's worry. If I act, I'll get reaction, I'll go to forest. Kṛṣṇa said, no, even if you go to forest, you will still get reaction. Na karmanāma nārambhān naiṣkarmya purusho snute na ca sannyāsenādhigacchati siddhiṁ adhigacchati. Not by merely abstaining from work can one attain freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. So you have to act. If you don't act, you cannot not act. So you don't renounce activity, but you don't renounce the fruits of the activities, which is one that is going to entangle you. Then Kṛṣṇa says, Yajñārthāt karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise what happens? Work causes bondage. If we do any activity not for the pleasure of this Lord, but for our own personal sense gratification, then we have to again transmigrate here. Kṛṣṇa has no problem, but it is our problem. We have to again go into so many different species of life, come into that cycle of birth and death. So any activity, the same activity that we do can bind us. The same activity that we do for Kṛṣṇa's pleasure, that can liberate us. The activity is same, but if you do for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa, that will liberate you. But if you do for your own personal sense gratification, that will bind you. The same work is same. We all have to work. Nature of the soul is to be active. We have to work. But that same activity, if you do for pleasure of Kṛṣṇa, like we all eat, right? When we cook and we eat. And if we eat for our own sense pleasure, Kṛṣṇa says in the 3rd chapter of Gita, Yagyasistasina santo muchyante sarvakil bishai bhunjate te tvagam papa ye pachanti ātma-karanāt. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is first offered for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So people who don't offer to Kṛṣṇa and eat for their own personal sense gratification, if they cook and eat, then they are verily eating only sin. But devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins. So every activity we can connect to Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa says, Yat karoshi yadashnashi yajjuhoshi dadasi yat tapashyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So that is how every activity should be connected to Krishna. So in the next section, Krishna told that, so how is it that you are saying that we have to act? If you act, you will get reaction. How come the Krishna conscious person is acting but is not getting reaction? So every activity, every action has a reaction. How come a Krishna activity do not lead any reaction? That is the next section. Krishna talks about jnana. So the first 12 verses Krishna is talking about karma, and then next 5 verses Krishna is giving jnana to Arjuna. What is that? Everything that we do, there are 5 factors for the accomplishment of every action. What is that? Adhishṭhānam tatha karta karanam cha prithak vidam vividāscha prithak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. What is that? The place, adhishṭhānam tatha, the place of action. What is the place of action? This body. And then the adhishṭhānam tatha karta karanam cha prithak vidam, the place of action, and then which is the body. And then the next is adhishṭhānam tatha karta karanam cha prithak vidam vividāscha prithak cheshta, the place of action, the body, and then the senses, the instruments of action are senses, the doer, and then the place of action, the body, the performer. Who is the performer? The soul, that we are doing. And the various senses, if we want to do any endeavor, we do it through the instruments of action, that is the senses. Then the different kinds of endeavor, cheshta, different endeavors. And finally, everything can be accomplished by the sanction of the super soul. Upadrashta anumantacha. He has to sanction. Even a blade of grass cannot move without the sanction of the Lord. So all these activities that we do are caused by these 5. But if you think that I am the doer, any right or wrong activity that we do is all these 5 factors are the cause for every wrong or right activity that we do. And without considering these 5 factors, if I think I am the doer, then what will happen? Krishna is telling that shariravan manobir this tatraivam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuyah pashyati akrita buddhitva nasa pashyati durmatihi. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. So everything that we do, we think a person in the material world, he thinks he is accomplishing everything and he is the doer. That is the biggest problem. That is why we have to go through all these reactions and all. No? We don't think that ultimately we are not the doers. We can only act, but ultimately by the sanction of the super soul only everything can happen. So Krishna tells this very nicely in 3rd chapter 27th verse. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimūಢātmā kartāham iti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the 3 modes of material nature. So there are 3 doers. Who are the 3 doers? Jiva number 1, doer number 1, doer number 2, and doer number 3. Doer number 1 is we, the jiva. Doer number 2 is the prakriti, material nature. And then doer number 3 is the super soul. Unless the super soul sanction is there, we cannot do anything. Of course, in the beginning we think about these 3, but finally these 5 factors, they are the cause for accomplishment of every action. So then he says that in the next verse, the Lord says, Yasya nahankruto bhavo buddhiryasya na lipyate hatpapi saima loka nahanti na nibadhyate. One who is not motivated by the false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill. It might think, what is that? Killing and not killing. What is that? Nor is he bound by his actions. What is that? One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor he is bound by his actions. What is this? I always give this example. In a battlefield, the armies, everybody is assembled there, and the authority tells this army people, go and kill these people and come. So, following the authority, these people, they go and kill all these enemies, this army, everything, and they come. When they come, they are given Bharat Ratna award. Great! You have done very nice. They get Bharat Ratna award. That same person, he is going on the road, he doesn't like somebody, he kills him. He is thrown in the jail. Here also killing, there also killing. Why this? Here there is a reward and here there is a jail.
Whimsically.
Why is that?
State whimsically.
This is a whimsical action that is done by authority, right? So whatever Kṛṣṇa tells, under Krishna's direction if we act, we don't get any reaction. But Arjuna's worry was, he was thinking he is the doer. Just now I told, right? The false ego. One who acts under false, Arjuna is thinking he is the doer, so he is declining to fight. Oh Kṛṣṇa, if I fight, I have to go suffer sinful reactions and suffer in the hell for millions of lives. So Kṛṣṇa, please don't tell me to fight. He is thinking he is the doer. But Kṛṣṇa is telling him, like I told you the example, the authority is telling, go and kill all these people. Then the reward is there. But if they act on their own accord, whimsically, then they have to face their own reaction. They have to take responsibility for their actions. But if we act under Kṛṣṇa's direction, no reaction. What did Kṛṣṇa tell? Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion. What is the types of religion we have to abandon? Any religion that whichever stops us from surrendering to Kṛṣṇa, those are the religion we have to abandon. Savai pumsham paro dharmo. So abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. What is our duty? Abandon all varieties of religion and surrender to Kṛṣṇa. What is Kṛṣṇa's duty? I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. I will look after you. Arjuna is telling, oh Kṛṣṇa, if I fight, I will kill all these people, I have to go to hell and suffer. Kṛṣṇa is telling, I am telling you to do, you do. If you act on your own accord, like I told you, this man going on the road, he doesn't like somebody killing, he has to take responsibility. But Kṛṣṇa is telling, I am telling, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me, I shall deliver you. Then in the very first canto of the first canto of Bhagavatam, there was very first chapter, questions by the sages, 6 questions were asked. What is the ultimate good for everyone? Please tell me the essence of all the scriptures. What is the essence of all? Because today, in this day and age, no time to read the entire pile of scriptures and all. How to know what is the essence of all the scriptures? So please tell me, so that what is the ultimate good and what is the essence of all the scriptures? Then it is said, Savai pumsham paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitukiya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service should be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. That is the supreme, that's the essence of all the scriptures. What is that? Savai pumsham paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto transcendent Lord. What should be the quality of such service? Such should be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely set. Yayatma suprasidati. We are the Atma. We are not these bodies. Nothing can give that pleasure and bliss to that soul, to that body. This body has got only this, Kṛṣṇa tells in 7th chapter, Bhumirapo nalo vayu. We have 2 bodies. What is that? Bhumirapo nalo vayu khammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirastada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. This gross body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence and false ego. So besides this, O mighty armed Arjuna, apareyami tastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So we are spirit soul. Nothing can give us bliss in this material world. We are not this matter. This material world is coming from matter. We are not matter, we are spirit souls. We can never be happy like a fish. If we take a fish out of water and put it in the air-conditioned room, give 24 hours Wi-Fi, will the fish be happy? No. Why? That's not, whatever you give to that fish, it can never be happy. But how can you make fish happy? Put it back in the water, right? Similarly, we are all, we can never be happy. We are just like a fish, no? We are fish out of water. We belong to that, in our Kannada language, allide namma mane illiruvadu sumane. That is where we belong. We have come here. Why did we even come here? Because actually we were all in the spiritual world serving the Lord. While serving the Lord, we got a sort of little bit of selfishness. Why should I serve Him? Why should He be master? Why can't I be master? Why should He enjoy? Why can't I enjoy? We developed this sort of mentality. Then Kṛṣṇa said that with this consciousness you cannot live here. In spiritual world, ekale Ishvara Kṛṣṇa arasabhabrutya. In the spiritual world, there is only one Ishvara, Supreme Ishvara, that is Kṛṣṇa. We cannot take His position. We try to take His position. That's why Kṛṣṇa said, man proposes, God disposes. Because we developed that desire to enjoy separately, we didn't want to serve Kṛṣṇa, we wanted to enjoy separately from Kṛṣṇa, then Kṛṣṇa created this material world. There was no need of this material world, actually speaking. Why there is a need? Because we wanted to enjoy separately from Kṛṣṇa, we desired, man proposes, God disposes. Actually in India, there is no need of jail. Actually speaking, there is no need of jail. Why there is need of jail? Because we are acting against the laws of the government, like that. That's why there is a need to create a jail. So that is why this material world is actually a jail for us. We are put here, we have to suffer janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, all these things. So anyway, coming back to this 18th chapter, so again Kṛṣṇa talked about the three modes of material nature. How the activities of the living entities control, the three modes are controlling the activities of the living entity. Very beautifully, 19th verse to 40th verse, Kṛṣṇa very elaborately explained about knowledge in three modes, understanding in three modes, action in three modes, determination in three modes, happiness in three modes. Very nicely Kṛṣṇa explained all that. So about these modes of material nature, right from the time, when did we become associated with these modes? Kṛṣṇa says in 14th chapter 5th verse, Sattvam rajastamaiti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with material nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. We don't know, we cannot trace the history when we came in contact. Since time immemorial, we have been associated with these modes. So that is why we have been transmigrating. So these modes, there's influence of the modes from topmost to bottom. Like in the 40th verse of the 18th chapter, Kṛṣṇa says, Natadasti pritivyam va divi deveshu va punaha sattvam prakriti jairmuktam yade bhisyatri birgunai. So in the material world, everywhere there is an influence of the three modes of material nature. So that's how he concluded that section, saying that there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. So Arjuna asked how to transcend these modes. Kairlingay strin gunane tan atito bhavati prabho kimmachara katam chetam strin gunan ativartate. How one can transcend these modes? Then Kṛṣṇa says, Mam chayo vyabhicārena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhūyāya kalpate. Bhakti is so powerful, it can even destroy that subtle body also. It is so powerful. So only through bhakti we can transcend the modes. Otherwise, we go on transmigrating from body one after the other. We go on, it goes on like that. So now in the next section, Kṛṣṇa is talking about how to attain perfection by performing our prescribed duties, varna ashrama. So Brahmanas, what is the qualities by which Brahmanas work, Kshatriyas work, Vaishyas work, Shudras work? So Kṛṣṇa is telling that Shamodamastapashaucham Kshantirarjam. So Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own nature, in accordance with the material modes, O chastiser of enemy. Shamodamastapashaucham Kshantirarjavamevacha Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam Brahmakarma Svabhavajam. So what is Kṛṣṇa telling here? Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, religiousness, knowledge, wisdom and religiousness, these are the natural qualities of work by which Brahmanas work. So for Brahmanas, qualities are very, very important. So in the universal form, the Brahmanas come from the head part of the Lord. And then Kshatriyas come from the arms. And then Vaishyas come from the belly or waist part, and Shudras come from the leg part. But we should not look, everybody are equally important in Varnas, because everybody is interdependent. Like the Brahmanas, they depend on the others for their maintenance, like that. And then vice versa, the Kshatriyas and so everybody are equally important. One should not they should not dominate, like the Brahmanas generally, they should not dominate over the other lower classes. But in the Varnasrama, everybody are very important. Kṛṣṇa says in 4th chapter 13th verse, Chaturvarnyam maya srushtam gunakarma vibhagasaha tasya kartaram apimam vidhyakartaram avyayam. Gunakarma vibhagasaha, not janma karma vibhagasaha. Guna and karma are important, not janma, not by birth it is distinguished. According to the 3 modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the 4 divisions of human society are created by me. Although I am the creator of this system, you should note that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. So Kṛṣṇa created these 4 varnas and ashramas based on the qualities, the guna karma vibhagasaha, the modes of nature. So who is Brahmana, who is a Kshatriya, who is a Vaishya and who is Shudra. So then Brahmana's qualities are peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom and religiousness. Then he says, Shauryam tejo dhritirdakshyam yudhe chapya palayanam dhanam ishvara bhavascha kshatram karma svabhavajam. Hero, what is the work for the Kshatriyas? Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Which Varna was Arjuna? Kshatriya, right? So for him, heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, in the material world, we see even in the foreign countries, everywhere there is these 4 Varnas are there. No? The Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So even in the foreign country, like we think that it's only in India, it's not like that. People are there all over the world. In the Western countries also fresh produce we get. Who is doing that? The Vaishyas, cow protect. Actually in the Kali Yuga, everything has gone very, very bad. The Vaishyas have to do cow protection. They are the people who are slaughtering the cows. Very unfortunate situation. That's what is happening. So then next verse is telling that Krishigo Raksha Vanijyam. What is the work for the Vaishyas and Shudras? Krishigo Raksha Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Svabhavajam Paricharyatmakam Karma Shudrasya Pi Svabhavajam. Farming, cow protection and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas. And for the Shudras, there's labor and service to others. We are all depending, like even the Kshatriyas, Brahmanas, we all depend, we have to eat, right? We are depending on Vaishyas. And we are not able to do all the work. We need some people to help us out to do the work in the house, labor, hard work. So for the Shudras are helping. So like that. But out of all these 4, Brahmanas are very important, because Brahmanas, they are very well trained. Nobody can become a Brahmana by birth. Like Prabhupada says that a son of a lawyer cannot automatically become a lawyer, right? He has to go to law school, study under the great all these lawyers, and then learn. Then only he can have to get a degree. Then he can go to law school and he can become a lawyer. by birth he cannot be a lawyer, like that. So by birth one cannot be a brahmana, but by education and training, by proper education and training, one can become a brahmana. Not by birth, but by birth one cannot become a brahmana. Like actually in Kali Yuga there are no brahmanas at all. Prabhupada says Kalo Shudra Sambhava. But then Prabhupada, pure devotees, they by education and training and by giving guidance, proper training, everything, then they can become brahmanas like that. So then Kṛṣṇa is saying that so for Krishigora, then next verse, Vesve karmanya birataha samsiddhim labate nara swakarma nirataha siddhim yatha vindati takṣṇu. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. So whatever qualities of work we have, by doing that activity perfectly, then we can attain perfection. How we can do that? We will be reading now. Yataha pravrittir bhutanam ena sarvam idam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings, who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So what is that? Whether you are a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, whatever varna we are from, by that we have to worship the Supreme Lord. Brahmanas, they have to worship the Supreme Lord. And the Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, whatever they do, by their earning or whatever, they have to worship the Lord. By doing that, what will happen? They can attain perfection in their lives. So, but sometimes what happens? A person is born in a Brahmana, he should not do the work of Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra. And if a person is born a Kshatriya, he should not do the work of Brahmana. So we should not mix this, no? If your born nature is Brahmana, you have to act like a Brahmana. A Vaishya should act like sometimes, some people like Brahmanas, they say that while doing sacrifice, sometimes you have to offer the animals. So, I don't want to do that, then I better do like a Vaishya or something. He should not think like that. And the Vaishya, he should not, a Kshatriya, for example, Arjuna only. Arjuna, he is a Kshatriya. For the Arjuna, what is the qualities we read? Leadership, courage in battle, generosity, heroism, all these things Arjuna has to fight. But Arjuna wants to be like a Brahmana. So Kṛṣṇa is telling, whatever nature you are born with, you have to act that. You should not do other duty. Kṛṣṇa is telling next, sir, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharma swanishtita svabhavane tam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's own nature are never affected by sinful reactions. So sometimes the Vaishya might think that, I have to do business, while doing business I'll have to make profit, I have to lie, for you I'm giving this price, otherwise it is like, 10,000, for you I'm giving only 7,000. It's only simply a lie. But still, to survive in the business, he has to do that. But he should not think, I don't like to tell lies, I want to act like a Brahmana. He should not do that. That's what Kṛṣṇa is telling. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's own nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Then Kṛṣṇa is telling here, to make us further perfectly understand, Kṛṣṇa is giving an example. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajet sarvarambāhi doshena dhumenāgneriva vrita. Every endeavor is covered by some fault. Just now we discussed, Brahmana while doing yajnas, he'll have to sacrifice animals. And Kshatriyas, even though their duty is to fight over the enemies and manage the complete administration, they have to do that. But then, even in doing that, like the Kshatriya may not like to kill people, but if his dharma is, that means he has to do. So every endeavor is covered by some fault. If a Brahmana wants to do the work of Vaishya, there is some fault. He has to tell lies. And so in every activity, that's what, every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. So, how can you remove that fault? The previous verse we read, by worshipping the Supreme Lord. Whatever is the defect in that, that will be purified. How? By worshipping the Supreme Lord, offering everything for this perfect. That way we can get perfection in our life. But doing our own activity and offering the results to Kṛṣṇa and offering everything for the pleasure of the Lord, that will free us from any defects that has got. Just like Kṛṣṇa is giving example, every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. Then Kṛṣṇa is telling us today's verse, one who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest stage of Brahman, like the freedom from reaction. So the entire worry is karma, akarma, vikarma. What is karma, akarma, vikarma? Karma is activities done under, in the Vedas, all these activities are told to get to fulfill our material desires. We have to worship so many demigods, because all these things, then the demigods being pleased, they give whatever we want, like that, this is all. So at least karma is better. Why? Because they are at least following some authority. Vedas are telling, they are following some authority, even though the impetus for following that is to fulfill your own selfish material desires, but at least it is good because they are following some authority. Even though impetus may be to fulfill their own selfish desires, but at least some authority is there, they are following. But at least again we have to come back to this material world to suffer the reaction. Whereas then vikarma, what is vikarma? Doing activities that is not sanctioned by the scriptures at all. That person, he doesn't follow Vedas, authorities, no sadhu, shastra, guru, acting whimsically, that is vikarma, which is very dangerous. Then again we may enter into the animal species. Like in the 16th chapter, Kṛṣṇa says that those who disregard the scriptural injunctions and act according to their own whims, neither they achieve perfection nor supreme destination nor happiness. They'll have to glide down to the hellish worlds. And Kṛṣṇa says that for a long, long time they will suffer in the condition and they cannot be elevated like that. So that is the danger. But then akarma, what is akarma? Every activity that we do for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa. Akarma means that activity will not lead reaction. Whereas other things, vikarma, bad reactions, good, and karma, good reactions. Again, we have to come back into this material world. Kṛṣṇa, in the 8th chapter, it is said, Brahma bhuvana loka punara vartino arjuna mamupetyat kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. Everywhere in the material world, they have to, again, those who come to me, they don't have to again take birth. But Brahma bhuvana loka, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So Kṛṣṇa also says in the Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sojana. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not upon leaving the body take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. So one who understands the nature of Kṛṣṇa's birth and activities. What is Kṛṣṇa's birth? Is it his birth like our birth? We take birth through karma. We have to, we are forced to take birth. But Kṛṣṇa's birth is not like that. By his own sweet will he comes. His janma karma chame divyam. It is transcendental. It's not like our birth. We are forced to take birth as per karma. Kṛṣṇa janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha. One who knows what is the nature of Kṛṣṇa's birth and activities, then we don't come back here at all. That is why Kṛṣṇa very mercifully comes, appears here. Actually, to kill the demons, he can send so many incarnations, but he personally comes. Why? Because he paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkara. He wants to give pleasure to the devotees and give his association to devotees who are really longing to have. So when he comes here, he performs very, very nice transcendental pastimes, so that when we hear that, Tava kathamritam तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं bhuvi grinanti ye bhurida jana. So when we hear Krishna's transcendental, these ear holes are meant to hear Krishna Katha. That is what the ear holes are meant for. Who will not be interested to hear? Who will be interested to hear? First we will understand that. Who will be interested to hear about Krishna? Who are completely exhausted this material thing, no? Such people can hear about Krishna Katha. Other people who cannot hear, who are those who are not interested to hear Krishna Katha are like compared to this, butchers, the animal killing people, who are the killers of the soul. Such people will not be interested to hear about Krishna Katha. The whole essence of the Srimad Bhagavatam is to hear Krishna Katha. Even Vyasadev, when he compiled the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, he was feeling very incomplete and unsatisfied and despondent. Then he approached Narad. Narad Muni comes and he asks, what is it that not making me happy? Even after writing the entire Bhagavatam and Mahabharata, everything, I should be feeling very blissful. Why? What is that is not making me happy? Then Narad Muni told that, you have given... do you think the self-realization is happening with this body and senses like that? No. Actually, any literature that doesn't glorify Krishna's Nama Rupa Gunalila, name, form, qualities and pastimes, are compared unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Where do the crows get attracted? Where there's a filthy place, dirty. So there the crows get attracted. So what does he mean by that? Anywhere, anybody talking anything other than Krishna Katha are compared to unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. The crows get attracted to all the filthy, dirty places. But, so he says that, Nayad Vachas Chitra Padam Hare Resho Jagat Pavitram Pragranita Karhichit. Tadvayasam Tirti Ushi. So the crows, they get attracted. On the other hand, Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratislokam Abhaddhavatyapi Namani Anantasya Yashon Yat Shrinvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadavaha. So wherever there is a glorification of Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes is completely a different world, bringing a revolution in the impious lives of this misdirected world. No? The whole world, Krishna Katha and glories of Krishna should be spread everywhere. That is the only solution for the entire problem of this material world. No other thing can be really purify, that is why devotees so mercifully, actually sometimes devotees are even more merciful than the Lord himself. They go in Australia, I lived in Melbourne for nearly 33 years. In front of the McDonald's, the devotees, they go and very loudly chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And even in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asking Haridas Thakur, how can I see people are so low, adhama, very fallen, lowly, they are intoxicated, they are doing all this abomination. How can they be delivered? Lord Chaitanya is asking to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur told, don't worry, oh my Lord, they say haram, haram, at least that way, they are chanting the holy name of the Lord. They'll be delivered, And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, how can the trees, the plants and animals, insects, they can be delivered? Then, he said that loud chanting of the holy, that is why Sankirtan should happen everywhere. The devotees, all the devotees, they chant in the early morning in the streets of Vrindavan, everywhere they chant, and the devotees, they chant because they are giving opportunity for all these conditioned souls to hear the holy name, enter their ears, holy name. That can only Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadujivanam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not write many books when he came here. What did he write? He only gave this 8 verses Sikshastakam. But today morning in the Srimad Bhagavatam class, Radhakanta Prabhu was telling that the Lord is more happy to glorify his devotees. he don't want to take credit, but he wants to glorify his devotees. That is why so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he came, he did not write any books or scriptures or anything. He only gave this 8 verses, very, very important. Sikshastakam we recite every day in the morning. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told, my mother ordered me, when I took sannyas, my mother told me not to go to Vrindavan. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan, my mother ordered me not to go to Vrindavan, but to stay in Jagannath Puri, because Jagannath Puri is considered to be, Jagannath Puri and Navadvip are considered to be 2 rooms in the same house, so that she gets the information of Chaitanya, because the Bengal devotees, they come every Chaturmasa, spend 4 months, and there's already somebody or the other coming and going, so that I can get your information. But if you live in Vrindavan, I won't know. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, under the order of Sachimata, he had to stay in Jagannath Puri. But then Sanatan Goswami, and actually Sanatan Goswami, he came to Jagannath Puri to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees. Unfortunately, he gets infected by some, like he passes through this Jharkhand forest, and he happens to drink some not good water, and he gets infected, all the oozing of this. So he thinks that what is the value of, how can I go to Jagannath Puri now? Neither I can meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nor I can see Jagannath, or I can associate all the people they are worshipping. How, if I go there, I'll be doing a great offense, So what is the use? I should commit suicide. I should fall under the Rath cart when Lord Jagannath is there, and I'll be seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I can fall under the cart and commit suicide like that, Means I can leave my body like that. But then with those plans, Sanatana Goswami comes actually. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day, when he comes, he stays with Haridas Thakur, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and then Haridas Thakur tells, look, here Sanatan is there. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he embraces, oh my God, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then, he didn't want that, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, what are your plans, Sanatan? What are you planning? Are you thinking of committing suicide? Do you think you can get Kṛṣṇa Bhakti and go back to Godhead by committing suicide? Do you think your body belongs to you? I have so many things to accomplish through your body, and you're thinking of giving it up? Do you think your body belongs to you? It belongs to me. I am the owner of your body. So then, I have so many things to accomplish through your body, and you want to give up that. So you have to go to Vrindavan, excavate temples, write scriptures, and all the holy places you have to, so like that, so many things I have planned to do through you. So Kṛṣṇa, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to give glory to his devotees. They did all this. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami were instructed to go to Vrindavan Dham and write all the scriptures, and excavate all the holy places here, write scriptures, all the beautiful scriptures they have written. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava, and so many nice scriptures today, otherwise we wouldn't have much anything here. So this is the glories of devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord wants to glorify his devotees more than himself. So even in Bhagavad Gita also, Kṛṣṇa actually killed all the everybody. Nimitta matram bhavasavya shachin. Arjuna had to only become an instrument in the fighting. So like that, the Lord is very merciful. He gives glories to his devotees rather than himself taking that credit. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.